The 2026 offseason is almost here for a lot of these teams. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down all the free agent types and free agents that are going to be in this offseason. First, we're going to start with the unrestricted free agent, which is the most known. These guys' current contracts are officially up and they can test the market and see what they're going to be valued at. We're currently ranking this by market value on Sportech, so we can see a lot of the players that are going to be on here. 140 players are unrestricted free agents for the 2026 season, and we can see all of them up there. I will say it's a pretty big pitching market that we do have here. A lot of starting pitchers are on this board as well. And then we have a couple of the main hitters like Kyle Tucker, Kyle Schwarber, and then Bo Bichette are also on here. But it's a big pitching market, I want to say, this offseason. So that is definitely something to think about. I'm not going to talk about every single player, but I will scroll through so you can see some of the players that are free agents coming into this offseason, because there's a lot of them, and we're doing this by market value. So these are the guys that are predicted to have the biggest market. And there are so many players on this list, especially. So a lot of guys are going to be free agents. And it's honestly easier to break this down if you do it by team, because each team usually has a couple guys that are going to be free agents every single season. I feel like that's the easiest way to break this down because it's only a couple guys per team, but looking at it in full can definitely be a little bit overwhelming, I feel like. And also, they do have some guys on here that might come over from Japan or Korea, so that is definitely something to think about, because I know there's going to be a lot of eyes, especially on Murakami coming on over. He's one of the best third basemen in Japan. He played awesome in the 2023 World Baseball Classic, so I could definitely see a lot of people wanting him as well to this class. And obviously, we don't really know his market value yet, but I imagine it's going to be super high. Yeah, Kyle Tucker will probably get a bag in the offseason if I had to get. The same with a lot of these pitchers, to be honest. The interesting one to me is Bo Bichette. I really want to know if he stays with Toronto. He's 27 years old, about to turn 28 in 2026. If he gets a massive contract like Vlad did, I think he'll 100% stay. That's a pretty good duo, I'm not going to lie, with Vlad and Bo Bichette. They're both players that have been playing absolutely phenomenal. So we'll kind of see what happens on that side, but a ton of different free agents, and we're obviously going to go over all these guys when it comes to our team breakdowns in the offseason. So definitely stay tuned for those videos coming throughout the offseason. Make sure you guys subscribe for those, because we do those every year and they're a lot of fun to make, and I think I do a pretty good job about breaking down every other team. But these are the unrestricted free agents we have in the 2026 season. Now let's go to our second type, which is going to be player opt-outs. Now how these work is players currently on contracts have opt-outs put into their contract, so if they want to opt out of this contract, they definitely can. And obviously, if they don't opt out, then they'll just get paid what they were normally going to get paid through that contract. So there's only 6 players on this list, and I don't think a lot of them will opt out. For example, like Trevor Story is not going to opt out. He hasn't played enough games to. And obviously, most players opt out to get more money or just get on a new team, to be honest. Bregman, I really don't think will, especially now that the Red Sox are in the playoffs. I feel like guys like Edwin Diaz and Robert Suarez could opt out because I feel like they could get more money, especially by looking at their market value and what they're currently on right now. And then Tyler O'Neill and Peralta probably don't opt out of their contract unless Tyler O'Neill just wants to switch teams. I could totally see it, to be honest, because that whole Orioles situation is just really bad in my opinion. But only a couple guys on the player opt-outs, not a ton. Let me know if you guys think these guys will opt out or not. Now the next free agent type is going to be player options. Now these are very similar. The player has the option to come back to the team for that same salary, or they could not take that option and become an unrestricted free agent. And for a couple guys, I think it could make sense to opt out. Like for example, I don't think Pete Alonso will opt out. Cody Bellinger maybe, because he could get a massive contract, because he's a free agent after the 2026 season anyways, so we'll kind of wait and see. But a lot of these players I feel like won't opt out just because they kind of chose the team they're on. Maybe a guy like Shane Bieber would if he wants to come back to Cleveland. Like guys like Jock Pearson and AJ Minter probably will not opt out of their contract just because they haven't had the best seasons. Same with Frankie Montas. I don't think he would opt out because the Reds gave him probably the best contract he's going to get in his career. Same with Gurriel. I don't think he's going to opt out. I highly doubt Kim would opt out, but you never know. I don't think a lot of these guys are going to opt out of their contracts, but you never know, honestly. So these are the players that are currently on their player options in this offseason. So the next free agent type we have is going to be the club option. Now this is where the team can control if they want to bring you back or not. If the team does want you back, then you stay on that same contract that you were on originally. If they don't want you back, then you are an unrestricted free agent and you can talk to any team. So there's definitely a decent amount of players on this list, and I really see a lot of teams retaining these players, especially the guys at the top, just because their value is going to go crazy. The only one I could see getting rid of is going to be Jose Alvarado, just because of the whole suspension situation. That one I feel like they could see getting rid of him. But yeah, honestly, you never know. I wonder if they're going to bring Perez back on the Royals. I feel like they have to, but I mean, we've seen what the Reds did with Joey Votto. So we'll kind of wait and see, but I do feel like a lot of these players will come back to these original teams. I really doubt they're going to let a lot of the guys test the waters, to be honest, especially because a lot of the players are pitchers when you scroll down. So a lot of these guys are going to be on their original teams that they're on right now. Obviously, if they sign a free agent and need a roster spot, they could DFA a couple of these guys or just not extend that club option if they know they're going to sign someone. It's a big cat and mouse game with these players, but I feel like most of them are going to come back to their contracts, especially guys like Freddie Peralta at Albies. I mean, these contracts are just insane on these guys. But yeah, these are all the players on club options. There's 34 of them in this offseason. offseason, but I feel like a lot of them are going to come back to their teams. Now, the next free agent type is going to be the mutual option. Now, how this one works is both sides have to agree to come together and come back to the team. So, for example, on Michael King, if the Padres wanted him back and he didn't want to come back, then he's an unrestricted free agent. But if Michael King did want to come back and the team wants him back, then he's going to stay on that contract and that mutual option will pass and he will be on the Padres for next season. So that's a little bit kind of how the mutual option works. I want to say most of the time, I feel like it's 50-50 with these guys. If they think they can get more money and they just had an incredible season and they're on, maybe not the best team, or they want to go to another team, I feel like they could 100% opt out. Once again, if you're on a pretty good contract and you want to stay with the team and the team wants you back, then it kind of makes sense to extend it. But we'll see. I feel like a lot of these are 50-50, so we'll kind of see where the teams are at. For example, like I feel like a couple guys, like a guy like Kyle Farmer, I could see them getting rid of. I feel like Diaz and Hendricks, I could see these guys getting rid of 100%. Like Justin Turner, I doubt the Cubs will bring him back, to be honest. But wait and see. I would say a lot of this is 50-50. The guys that have extremely high market value are probably going to come back to their teams, to be honest. But we've seen crazier stuff with this, so you honestly never know. But that's kind of how the mutual options work. There are 18 of these players, so we'll kind of see what happens in the offseason. And the final free agent type is the vesting option. Now, there's only one player on a vesting option, and it's Matt Strome. Now, how a vesting option works is the player is automatically guaranteed that contract if the player meets certain statistical performances. So Matt Strome has to meet a certain statistical performance to come back with the Phillies next year. If you actually look up his contract, he's actually done this statistical performance. His 2026 option vests at $7.5 million with 60 innings pitched in 2025. Now, if you look at his stats, he's already pitched 62.1 innings. So that means he will already be back with the team because he's already passed 60 innings. So shout out to Matt Strome. So he will be a Philly for the 2026 season. And then after that, he will be an unrestricted free agent. So that's a little bit how the vesting option works. You have to meet a certain requirement for the team to bring you back. And if you don't hit that requirement, then you are unrestricted free agent. But obviously he's hit that requirement, so he will be coming back to the Phillies. So those are all the different free agent types and some of the players that are on those types. I feel like it's pretty important to know because a lot of this stuff is maybe hard to figure out or a lot of people don't understand it. But we can kind of take a look at the highest guys on market value with all the different types. It's definitely going to be a very interesting offseason on where these players are going to go and what players are going to come back to their teams and not come back to their teams is going to be an interesting topic. But let me know down below in the comment section, what player are you looking forward to the most in free agency? What player do you want your team to sign? What player do you want your guys to come back? Let me know down below in the comments. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.